From steam power, which sparked the Industrial Revolution, to the electric telegraph that connected nations.
History is marked by discoveries that have transformed our world.
Each has demanded a leap into the unknown. Those who embraced change thrived, while others were left behind. And now, it's the dawn of a new era.
But this time we stand on the precipice of a far, far deeper transformation.
Join us on this journey to discover how AI will redefine our world.
Will you take the leap?
Perhaps you're the kind of person who wakes up every morning with a smile on your face, excited about the day to come. Many of us don't. What if I told you that you could escape your life and enter a virtual one where everything is possible? Suddenly, you're standing on the summit of Mount Everest, or exploring the inside of an atom. Or maybe you'd like to transport yourself into your favorite video game and become any character you want. Artificial intelligence allows us not only to change the world around us, but also to create entirely new realities. This is the power of the virtual experience. To guide us through the fascinating world of AI, I present to you the physicist, the founder of the foundation Science, I Like It, and our host, Tomasz Różek.
Is a virtual experience a real experience? Is a virtual experience a real experience?
Well, it's called virtual, right? But the closer we get to the resolution that we have in the actual reality, the closer we get to the sensory experience that we have, the more the boundary is blurred. Ultimately, how do we know that something is real, right?
We will be joined by one of Poland's most respected AI experts, Aleksandra Przegalinska. What exactly is the metaverse?
Metaverse is a concept that is still quite hypothetical, I would say. We often use it to describe a very immersive experience. So imagine you put on some sort of goggles, immersive goggles, and in front of you, you see a space that is very hard to distinguish from reality, but it's just a simulation. Can be a game of some sorts, can be an environment or a room that doesn't really exist. So metaverse for us is that level of simulation that you would achieve when you feel that what you see is completely not distinguishable from reality.
Aleksandra Przegalinska has provided us with her avatar so that our participants can speak directly to an AI.
Hello, I'm Aleksandra Przegalinska's avatar. What's your name?
I'm Łukasz. Nice to meet you, girl from the future.
Hello, my name is Anna. Nice to meet you.
Is this your first time talking to an avatar?
Yes, I've created one for some game, but I never spoke to him. But so this is our, first conversation.
I am father of two teenagers, boy and a girl. And I grown up in a society where even cell phones didn't exist. And I grown up with my friends outside without connection to the world through internet. And you are a mystery to me.
If it was not for AI in general, and generative AI in particular, I think we wouldn't even talk about the metaverse today. There were a couple of attempts to build metaverse in the past, and actually Second Life was one of them, but all of them failed because these worlds were underdeveloped, people had nothing to do in these spaces, and they simply got bored in them. Now, with generative artificial intelligence, notice the world that is going to be immersive and digital in front of you can be prompted by you, yourself. And also the ways you can interact with this world, thanks to things like large language models, are going to be very diverse and very complex. So that presents itself as an opportunity to really build a live experience in the metaverse. Not a stable space just to roam around, but in fact something that you can tangibly feel. You can talk to the characters in there, but you can change that space as well. And I think only because of the convergence of generative artificial intelligence and metaverse as it is today, we can talk about an interesting metaverse in the future.
There was this book. It was not a particularly good book, but I think it sold the idea well. It was called Ready Player One. And my gut feeling is that Mark Zuckerberg invested so much money in a metaverse because he read it. And the idea was really nice. It was an idea of us playing in any world we want. You want magic? You play in a world of magic. You want in a super high tech? You play in this one. So you could switch the reality you're in. And this fundamental human need to be able to shape their reality is in all of us. That's why we travel. That's why we change the environment we're in.
So how do you think virtual reality can help in psychotherapy sessions?
Virtual reality can be a game changer in psychotherapy. It offers controlled environments for exposure therapy, where clients can face their fears in a safe, controlled way, such as simulating heights or social situations. VR can also create relaxing environments for mindfulness and stress reduction, transporting clients to calming virtual settings. Plus, it can help with skills training, allowing clients to practice social interactions or coping strategies in a virtual world before applying them in real life.
I will be traveling to Antarctica in January by sailboat. I wonder how can you be helpful for me in this adventure?
Wow, an Antarctica expedition by sailboat sounds incredible. AI can support your journey in a few ways. You could use AI-driven weather forecasting tools to get accurate, up-to-date information on weather conditions, helping you navigate safely. AI-powered translation apps can assist in communicating with any international crew members.
Yes, thank you. And could you give me an example of a hidden place which no people or very few saw at that continent?
In Antarctica, one lesser-known gem is Deception Island. It's a volcanic island with a flooded caldera, creating a natural harbor. What makes it truly special is the geothermally heated waters, allowing for a unique experience. You can take a dip in the hot water while surrounded by ice and snow. It's a place most visitors to Antarctica don't get to see. Would you be interested in exploring a spot like this?
Imagine a world where artificial intelligence overlays digital images onto the real world to enhance it with digital details. This is AR, augmented reality. So if you use filters to augment your looks, for example, to add bunny ears, or perhaps an app that superimposes a dinosaur running around your kitchen, then you're using AR. The combination of AI and AR opens up incredible possibilities.
Who will gain the most from AI, or more maybe from augmented reality or virtual reality?
Well, AR is a different thing because AR is a matter of the next couple of years. This is happening already. You will be wearing glasses that will most likely replace your phone, and they will add some information to what you see in the world. That's something different than virtual reality, which will basically give you a feed of reality that you're supposed to see, which might be entirely different than what is actually around you. With AR, I would say it's definitely happening very soon. With actual VR that people spend most of their time in, very, very distant future. But people who will gain most will be those who cannot access the reality that we live in the same way that we do. So, for example, people who have disabilities, people who have some mobility issues, people who cannot afford to travel, those will definitely benefit from VR because they will be able to see things otherwise they wouldn't be able to see and experience stuff they wouldn't be able to experience.
And what about industries?
Well, airlines.
Medicine or more education or more industry, heavy industry, or who will gain the most?
Tourism and airlines will not be happy about this, obviously. If you do not have to sit in a coach class for a couple of hours to see something, you can see it without crowds around you, most people will not travel at all because this is just much more fun and much cheaper. Education, we do not know what is going to happen. One dark scenario of education is that some governments will decide, oh, you know what, instead of regular classes, regular schools, let's scratch that. We'll have virtual reality. We pay for, it's cheap, it's so much cheaper to pay a license, right? I mean, Microsoft will be happy, but I do not know whether the results will be good because I think education is more of a conversation than just interaction with a machine. But of course, you asked which industries and who is going to benefit from this most. Obviously, there will be huge benefits also for medicine because if you're a top surgeon in the world, nowadays you're limited by your physical location. You will not be anymore. Well, most likely you will be able to perform operation anywhere in the world, and this is already happening even without VR, but to a limited extent. The perfect VR for specific medical purposes will make it much easier.
Can you write a novel about Łukasz Orbitowski?
Hi, Lucas. I can definitely help brainstorm ideas, develop characters, or outline a plot for a novel about Łukasz Orbitowski. Would you like to create a fictional story or something inspired by real life?
You know, I'm not fictional, so yes, it should be inspired by a real life. I mean myself.
Are there specific experiences or themes you'd like to focus on in the story?
I think there will be a lot of up and downs, I think.
That sounds like a compelling story, Lucas. A mix of highs and lows will make your novel relatable and engaging. Do you have any key moments or turning points in mind that you think should definitely be included?
A lot. For example, birth of my son, my life in America or Copenhagen, a lot of things.
Those are fantastic milestones to include. The birth of your son could be a pivotal, heartwarming moment, while your experiences in America or Copenhagen could add layers of adventure and cultural exploration. These elements will make your story rich and dynamic. Any other major life events or themes you'd like to weave into the narrative?
Maybe some love stories with a tragic end.
So far, all of this sounds pretty good, don't you think? But can we let technology completely dominate our lives? Doesn't fulfilling our deepest dreams with technology lead to losing touch with reality? Will we spend most of our time in virtual worlds, or will we be able to find a balance between the real world and the virtual one?
As a psychologist, you undoubtedly have a unique perspective on how augmented reality and the metaverse might shape our minds. What impact do you think virtual reality will have on the mental health of people in the future? And how can we improve it with the help of AI?
So I see the risk of, for example, people getting addicted to, for example, gaming or virtual sex, especially when I think of people with tendency to avoid emotions, avoid connection. It's really tempting to dive into virtual reality to make it easier for them, but it's also risky for their mental health. They can easily get addictions or another mental health issues because of that.
The real risk is that people will not necessarily enjoy interacting with actual people. They will prefer interacting with avatars.
We have it already now.
Yeah, it's problematic because ultimately we as a society, we need interaction, we need peers, we need people. And dealing with people is not easy. Humans are not a very nice species in a way. Of course, I'm joking, but in a sense, when you think about this, human relations are tough. It's never easy. It's much easier to interact with an avatar that does exactly what you want. The point I'm trying to make is that it's not virtual reality that is problematic. It's the fact that people will be able to create solitary worlds. If every single human on Earth has their own virtual reality, they do not interact with each other.
I am very, very excited about traveling. What I like most about it is to sense the world and places that I see with my touch, with my smell, with my taste. And how can you help me to experience even more in my travel that I as a human being can do through my senses?
There will be people who fall in love with the machines as they already are falling in love with the machines. But remember, you do not fall in love with a thing, a person, an animal. You fall in love with an idea. This is what makes you tick. So if you think there is a connection, if you think there's something special, you definitely might feel very deep emotions towards an AI bot, and people fall for this all the time.
So this is ultimately about a big dialogue. What we've managed to agree on in 2023 was a protocol for safe testing AI systems, and majority of the countries of the world really signed it or decided, yes, this is the pathway forward. But when it comes to other types of agreements about how to roll out AI, what's privacy, what role does it play, bias, all these questions are very open and different communities tackle them in completely different ways.
Those VR goggles are still not good enough. Even the best one, best of the best, are quite difficult to wear for 8-10 hours. The resolution is not all that great, so I would say it's still a decade before we get ready with the tech. And of course, there's no software. There's no really good metaverse or virtual reality that you could dive into.
We're standing on the precipice of a new era, where the boundaries between reality and the virtual is becoming increasingly more blurry and vague. Can we love something which doesn't have a body, emotions, and consciousness? And can we lose ourselves in a reality which isn't real at all? Now we know, without a shadow of a doubt, that yes, we can. This raises serious questions about the ethics of AI use in creating a metaverse. Like any new and immensely powerful technology, it involves a lot of risk.
Lem once wrote a story about a man who got lost because virtual realities were so real that he could not distinguish between them. Do you think that it's possible, technically it's possible to do this?
Today, it isn't, for sure. One day, whether we will be able to have a bridge to our brain that will stimulate the brain areas that are responsible for sensory perception, then yeah, if we get to this level, it's probably not going to happen anytime soon for various reasons. Some are technological obstacles and some are ethical, medical obstacles that we have. For now, the best thing we can hope for will be really good VR glasses. This is the best we can get.
How do you see AI impacting the creative process? Is it possible that AI can help writers to tap into their imaginations? Can I help you in any way?
Of course, you can give me a lot of information that I'm looking for. I know that I can ask you questions about my research and you will help me to find something that I'm looking for. But maybe one day you will be able to write a novel. But someone must tell you the idea of the novel. That's my job. So you are a thinking person, but I, the writer, I am the guy who tells you what you should think.
I believe psychotherapists and psychologists should be professional, should remain professional and not overuse AI in their work. They still need to analyze what they heard on the sessions, and they still need to give something from them personally. And it would be unethical just to rely on AI.
I believe we are very far away from creating a fully fledged digital world like the Matrix. It would be very hard to emulate those complex experiences of a real life into a game of any sorts or simulation of any sorts. We might see snippets of it quite soon. So there can be renderings of environments that will feel very natural, but if you're talking about existing in such kind of world, I don't think that's very likely to happen anytime soon.
The best way to prevent people into falling into absolute VR solitary nightmare is to make sure that the reality they live in is worth living in. You do not need to escape the reality if the reality you live in is nice. So the best way would be to make sure you have no violence, you have reasonably good health care, you do not have climate catastrophe happening. Sounds very easy, but unfortunately difficult to achieve.
Thank you.
After having a conversation with artificial intelligence, what comes to my mind is that it can be helpful in many ways, but it probably will never give me the feeling and the sense that I get in the travel when I lay on a beach on a warm sand, feel the wind coming up, hearing the waves, and the most beautiful thing that I get from the traveling is to feel the world through my human being body, and it cannot replace it in any way. So I rather travel alone than with artificial intelligence.